I think it's pretty safe to say that when we examine the Star Wars Skywalker saga, especially The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans around the world have had issues with the Disney Star Wars trilogy and exactly how they handled all these movies from 2015 all the way up until 2019. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, we do know that a lot of this had to do with Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy, the producer of all things Star Wars, the president of Lucasfilm who handles the roadmap, who handled the creative decisions and choices of these new Star Wars films. Now, when you look at Kathleen Kennedy as an example here, we do know that she is basically a prime example of how one interrupted a lot of the ideas by the directors and the writers in order to create a vision for themselves of how the Skywalker saga should continue and, of course, eventually end. In fact, it was Kennedy who really dialed it down quite a bit of having Darth Vader more so in Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, just as another example there. Now, moving on from all of this, we do know that The Rise of Skywalker really could have gained a lot more at the box office worldwide speaking. It only made a little over $1 billion at the box office worldwide, which really it should have deserved around 2, maybe even $2.5 billion worldwide, maybe even 3 at the max, if it really were that successful. It really had a lot of, pretty much opportunities out there in order to be by far, one of the best Star Wars movies of all. Now, with that being said, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with the Skywalker saga, they are focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as their new Star Wars universe, to create a better future for Star Wars. As of now, the new Disney CEO is making some significant changes over at Lucasfilm to create more authentic Star Wars projects for Disney+, theaters, and more. However, during and after the premiere, many interviews were given to the creators of the sequel trilogy, such as producer and president of Lucasfilm Kathleen Kennedy. When questioned about the production of the films and other questions about the franchise, Kathleen Kennedy went on to state that during production that she had no creative differences with J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio and supported all of their work from the very beginning when they started filming in August of 2018. Kathleen Kennedy stated that she is not the one who came up with the idea of Rey becoming a Skywalker and that J.J. Abrams had full creative control 100%. Meanwhile, when questions were given to J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, they were able to reveal that they did indeed have creative differences between themselves and Kathleen Kennedy, and wanted the best for Star Wars to end the Skywalker saga properly. J.J. Abrams at one point in time stated that Kathleen Kennedy is the one who insisted on Rey who would become a Skywalker, as well as Rey being the main character from the very start in The Force Awakens, and that Kennedy wanted Rey to take on the Skywalker name, as she is a very powerful and motivated character. So you can see how Kathleen Kennedy has this common trend of lying to the fans when it comes to press interviews or PR or whatever have you, right? Now, the thing about this is that, of course, we have a point in time where Kathleen Kennedy says that there were no creative differences between herself, J.J. Abrams, and Chris Terrio. Meanwhile, you got the actual creatives saying the complete opposite, which I believe the creatives over Kathleen Kennedy by a long shot. Based on what happened between Kennedy and the original writers of Solo: A Star Wars Story, based on the creative differences between Kennedy and, of course, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, and the fact that they just wanted to leave that Star Wars trilogy, nonetheless to focus more so on Netflix was another thing. But those are just two examples. So Kathleen Kennedy having creative differences with the creatives is nothing new. We've seen this common trend, like I say, for years on end. And this Disney Star Wars era, like I say, it's looking more bright every single day as we go throughout this year of 2020, because she no longer has creative control over these Star Wars projects. We're talking about new Disney Plus TV shows. By the way, I cannot wait for the Kenobi TV series. Not just that, but also the new Star Wars trilogy of films, new Star Wars projects in the mix, this new universe that they are developing. Not just that, though. When we look at Kathleen Kennedy, she's the one who actually insisted that Rey would become a Skywalker, meanwhile saying that it was not even her idea and that it was all JJ's idea. So you could see all of these tactics that she is doing during interviews to really cover herself up that, you know, she is the one to be blamed by the fans. Now, a lot of fans out there did not like the choice of Rey calling herself Rey Skywalker. I myself am one of them, and if you guys disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. But I feel that they really could have handled it in a better scenario. They could have had Rey somehow have Skywalker DNA. Maybe they found Luke's hand, or maybe even Anakin Skywalker's arm on Geonosis. They could have done something so significant to that point where Rey could have some form of Skywalker DNA embedded within her. Maybe Palpatine created her, you know, testing on Skywalker DNA. That would have made more sense of her being both a creation of Palpatine and a literal Skywalker. So with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not the one from night to morning.